Hello. So, yesterday I was having an Ethereal Girls Glow chat. Ethereal Glow Girls chat. Ethereal Glow Girls chat. That's what it's called. And so every Sunday, I hop on Zoom with the girls. There's only 8 spots available for the Zoom. And we just talk about different topics, whether it's manifestation, feminine energetics, money mindset, anything that we are feeling that we want to talk about on Sundays. So if you want to join, follow me on Instagram and join my community chat on Instagram, and also sign up for the chat. It's completely free. And yeah, so and yesterday we were talking about basically the steps to take after you have done your journaling, after you have visualized, and just the whole manifestation process of writing, journaling, affirming, all of these things. And so the next step that comes with manifestation is embodying the active mode, which is just embodiment of your manifestation. You have to get to a point to where as though you are actually experimenting with the things that you are implementing in your spirit and in your mind. So this is the shortest part of the process, and it's also a very crucial part of the process. This is the part of the process where you are now showing up in the world as the manifestation, as these visualizations that you are constantly putting in your mind, constantly making journal prompts about, constantly making vision boards about. This is you actually showing up in the world as this person. So as you gain the skill and confidence, you must make the move to a more active form of experimentation, such as taking on more responsibility, like initiating a project of some sort, doing work that exposes you to criticism of peers and the public. And the point of this is to gauge your process and whether there are still gaps in your knowledge. So you are observing yourself in action and seeing how you respond to the judgments of others, and if you can take criticism and use it constructively. So this is the part of the journey that I am in, is embodiment mode, active mode. So I have been doing so much inner work. I have been just pouring into myself so much that now it's time for me to expel this knowledge and to show up as this person that I have been cultivating within myself. And a part of that is really what I like to call exposure therapy. So this is me posting videos every day, sharing my voice. I really feel like a big part of my purpose is dance, but I also feel that as you grow and expand, your purpose begins to change and evolve, and it starts to become like nuances to your purpose. And in this specific time period, I feel like my purpose now is to share my knowledge, to use my voice, and that is what I'm doing. And I'm getting more comfortable with speaking, sharing my knowledge, and being confident, being confident, and trusting the gifts and knowledge and the wisdom that I have been instilled with. So yes, so oftentimes you must force yourself to initiate these actions or experimentations before you even think that you are ready. So with me starting to share more of what I've been learning and stuff like that, there have been like a lot of fear and a lot of like limiting beliefs around just starting. And a lot of times we can stop before we even start because we don't think that we're ready. But you have to force yourself to initiate these types of experiments. And I love to use the word experiment because it lightens the mode of like actually putting yourself out there and actually trying things. You have to experiment with yourself and observe yourself in action so that you can see how well you are able to like really embody these things that you are pouring into yourself. So you are testing your character and moving past your fears and developing a sense of detachment to your work. Developing a sense of detachment is the most powerful thing that you can do especially when it comes to your work, because we can get so attached, so emotionally attached to our work, that it'll prevent us from sharing things when we don't feel like it's perfect enough, or we don't feel like it's up to par. And a lot of times when you think of, what's perfect or what's up to par, you have a vision of somebody else in your mind. You have a vision of somebody you may look up to in your mind, and you equate your you equate the, what's the word? What is the word? I don't know why I just want to say goodness. Like, I'm gonna just say goodness. That's not like the most amazing word to use, but you equate the goodness of your crafts, of your work, to somebody else's crafts and somebody else's work. And if your artistry or craft does not look like whoever it is that you look up to, you diminish it, and you're like, oh, it's not good enough, it's not perfect enough. But the main thing is to show up authentically, especially in this time. People don't give a fuck if you show up imperfect. People, the highest vibration you can embody is authenticity. So wherever you are right now, show up as yourself and do your absolute best, and that will get you to the next level. Because when you don't experiment with these things, you cannot really you can't really gauge your process. You can't really gauge how well this inner work is being ingrained into your DNA, and how much it's really ascending. Because sometimes we can just overload ourselves with knowledge, but if you don't do anything with that knowledge, if you don't use that knowledge that you have, it's literally worthless. It means nothing. So you have to make it mean something. And I really want to get into the art of detachment. The art of detachment is the most powerful thing that you could do, especially when it comes to you bringing forth something new into this world. Because your creations are born from your internal being. So when you become strong enough to not allow anything to enter and invade your internal space, you have mastered the art of detachment. Because if you are allowing things from the external world to invade, that means that something from your external is creating for you. And if you are not consciously creating your life, something else is. Mastering the art of detachment is the most powerful thing you can do, because when you are attached, you are easily swayed or triggered. Because if you are attached, that means that you are emotionally binded to whatever is outside of you. And when you are being tested by the universe, that thing that you are so emotionally attached to will be the first thing that gets you shooken up. So when you are heavily and emotionally attached to something, first of all, you should not be attached to anything. We need to have a sense of connection to things, but to be attached to things means that whatever you are attached to has the power to dictate how you react to things. It has a sense of power and control over you, and whatever it is that you are attached to is outside of you, and you don't want that to be something internal. Whenever you are attached to something, that means that it is internally dictating things for you, and your internal being is where you create from, and you should not let anything invade that internal space. That internal space should stay pure and stay protected. So you are not to be attached to anything or anyone. You must be able to live in your full existence without being tethered or binded to anything outside of you, while also still being in connection with the oneness of everything in the universe. This is true inner freedom. Whenever you are feeling inner conflict or constraints, it's because you are attached to an energy that is not yours. I've been reading this book called The Courage to be Disliked, and the author Enchiro Kishimi and Fumite Koja says in The Courage to be Disliked that no such thing as worry is completely by the individual. So-called internal worry does not exist. Whatever the worry that may arise, the shadows of other people are always present. So if you are experiencing like internal conflict, internal fear, internal worry, it's only because you are somewhat attached to outside energies that are dictating how you move. They're creating this like fear-based energy within you to move from that energy instead of the energy that is purely yours. So yes, the art of detachment is something that I am practicing. It's something that I am starting to like dive deeper into as I get closer and closer to my manifestations, because like when we start to manifest, a lot of times, like, you need your emotions to manifest so that you could cultivate the vibration to bring the thing towards you. You need your emotions to manifest, but you should not be emotionally attached to the things that you are trying to manifest, because you don't want those things to have control over you. Nothing outside of you should have a deep enough influence on you to where as though like if you don't get that thing, then now your self-worth is diminished, or now you feel down about yourself, because that just means that you lack that inner freedom and that self-autonomy to cultivate the energy within yourself, hold it strong enough so that something outside of you is not controlling your emotions. Like, I hope what I'm saying is like really clicking and making sense. If I am like so attached to the outcome of me getting this job or whatever, the result of me getting a job or not getting a job will emotionally deter me, and I will move from an energy that is based upon fear instead of consciousness and love. And I spoke about this in one of my last videos about the timeline split. What video was that? I highly recommend that you watch that video, because you'll really get to understand like what I'm saying. Like, we get to choose what we are aware of and what timelines that we decide to walk into. So with that being said, when you are super attached to things, you are walking in the timeline of fear, because if that thing goes, or if it's not there anymore, then who are you? You pretty much, when you get attached to things, it's like your ego identifying with something, and it becomes who you are. And if that thing is gone or whatever, it's like you lose a part of yourself, but that thing was never a part of you to begin with, if that makes any sense. I hope this is clicking. I hope this is really clicking. But the video that I am talking about is called More Awareness, More Options, the Timeline Jump, or something like that. So today, yeah, timeline jump. So I highly recommend that you watch that video. It's a long video. It's one of my 50-minute videos, so I was really like diving deep into like the timeline shifts and how you can shift your timeline, how you can shift your awareness to a more aligned timeline, more conscious timeline, more timeline of love and abundance, and not one of fear and separation and just attachment to things. But yeah, that's what I have today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.